Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the Terminator datasheets for the new 10th edition of Warhammer 40,000. We saw the new models for the first time during the Adepticon 2023 online preview, but now it's time to have a look at exactly what they're going to be able to do on the battlefield for the new edition. And check this out, we've got the datasheet for the first time for the Terminator squad, and there's loads to go through. This is just packed with some new information, little teasers that we're not going to get everything from today, but you will find out some awesome new rules and new things that the Terminators can do in 10th edition. Okay, let's stop messing around and let's have a look at the characteristics first. One thing that jumps out right away is the toughness. Toughness 5 for the Terminators. This is what they should have had all along. So it's brilliant that they've got this increase from 4 to 5 now. That's going to make them so much tougher and really start to perform as I would imagine a Terminator squad to do. Their movement is 5 inches. They've got the save of 2+, so that's great that that's remained. 3 wounds, leadership 6+, and then the OC, the objective control, this is a score of 1. So you might have imagined they'd be maybe 2, like the intercessors, but they're not going to be, they're going to be 1. So these aren't really the ones you want to be holding on to the objectives, or at least contesting them, but they are going to pack a punch and be hard to shift if they do get near one. The article suggests combining them with some intercessors, and then that's going to be a great combo. These two units together, they're going to do some damage and certainly control some objectives. Let's have a look at the weapons next. So we've got ranged and melee weapons. There's a lot here to go through. Let's go through the ranged weapons first. The assault cannon right at the top, you can see it's got its own ability there called Devastating Wounds. Now they don't tell us in today's article exactly what that means, but they will be covering it at a later date. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly what Devastating Wounds brings to the table. And then there's the Cyclone missile launcher. You can choose frag or crack, and it tells us before selecting targets for this weapon, select one of its profiles to make attacks with. We've got the ability of blast that goes with the frag option. That's going to be very similar to blast that we've got in current 9th edition, I imagine, but they don't confirm whether or not it is or it isn't in the article today. But let's just assume that that's going to be very similar. Check out the Heavy Flamer. That's got 2 abilities. 1, it's going to ignore cover, and 2 is Torrent. This is going to be quite similar to Kill Team maybe, that Torrent ability there. Brilliant that it ignores cover. You're going to get in close. You've got to be within 12 inches for the Heavy Flamer anyway. It's still D6, Strength 5, -1 AP, dishing out 1 damage, and it's an auto hit, as we could expect from 9th edition. That's crossing over into 10th. But I'm loving that ability to ignore cover, and if Torrent is like Kill Team, then maybe it's going to have a similar effect where it tells us in the Kill Team rules that when you've made a shoot action with the Heavy Flamer, in this case, you can make a shooting attack with the weapon against each other valid target within X amount of distance of the original target and each other. Hopefully it's not a word salad like we see in Kill Team. It'll be a bit simplified, but let's wait and see on that. But it's definitely going to carry over to other models, I should imagine. Maybe if there's another unit within a certain amount of distance of the other one, then you can actually take a shot at that one as well. We'll wait and see. Then there's the rapid fire ability for the Storm Bolter. You've got rapid fire 2 there, so you're going to get 2 attacks normally with this. Ballistic skill of 3+, strength of 4. Armor piercing is 0 and the damage is 1, so nothing new there. But this Rapid Fire 2 is pretty interesting, and they give us a bit more information about this in the article. With the Rapid Fire ability, you'll get extra shots when you're within half range. So with Rapid Fire 2, on top of the weapon's base attacks value of 2, they can still fire 4 times if they're within 12 inches. But some weapons might be Rapid Fire 3 or Rapid Fire 4, in which case you can add that to the number of regular attacks. And here you can see they've clarified that weapons with rapid fire X, X being the number that you can add to the regular attack characteristic, in their profile are known as rapid fire weapons. Each time such a weapon targets a unit within half that weapon's range, the attack characteristic of that weapon is increased by the amount denoted by X. I imagine we're going to see this in some other factions as well, so really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it and if they're going to be increasing it so that it's rather than double, maybe it's just adding 1 extra 2, but hopefully we'll see somewhere it's out there a little bit and it's 3 or 4 on top of a regular 1 or 2 shots. Now let's have a look at the melee weapons, and as we covered in yesterday's video, you'll notice that the ballistic skill and the weapon skill are no longer at the top with the characteristics of the model. They're down in the weapons section. Much better now, much easier to have a look and see exactly what you need to be rolling to make your hit with. And we no longer have to have like an additional sentence in there that tells us, say for example, to add 1 to our weapon skill when using the chain fist. Now we've got the chain fist with its own line of stats to use. Very quick and easy. We can now take our attention from having to make that slight calculation and now keep focusing on the gameplay itself and keep that immersion there, which is so important for the game. And right away with this chain fist, we've got another new ability called anti-vehicle, followed by 3+ in this case. Let's have a closer look at what this rule means. Here we go then. So this is a weapon ability called anti, and weapons with anti followed by a keyword and then X+ in their profile are known as anti-weapons. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon against a target with the keyword after the word anti, an unmodified wound roll of X+ scores a critical wound. Okay, let's have a look at what it means by a critical wound first. Basically, a guaranteed success, normally achieved by rolling an unmodified 6. This is great, and in this example with the chain fist going up against a vehicle, it doesn't matter about the strength versus toughness. As long as you get that 3+, you're going to score a critical wound on the vehicle. I'm sure we'll expect to see keywords maybe like monster, flyer, that kind of thing. But really looking forward to seeing exactly how far they go with this new weapon ability called anti. This is all sounding pretty awesome so far. So we've covered the chain fist there, the weapon skill a little bit higher than a power fist, for example. And then you've got a power weapon, so your option there. You get more attacks, but the strength is going to be a little bit less. AP -2, only 1 damage. That covers the ranged and melee weapons now. Let's have a look at the abilities of the unit. And right away, we've got a core ability called Deep Strike, which we're familiar with already, and then Faction Oath of Moment. And it's the faction that are going to give different rules and access to specific stratagems. And I guess we're going to find out about that later. They don't go into detail in today's article. One interesting thing from the article, it tells us that almost every datasheet in the game has its own special ability, many of which used to be stratagems. That's really cool. So now, instead of having stratagems, they're just assigning special units those abilities right away, which is really cool. It really gives them more of a purpose and a role within your army. I really like the sound of that. The example they show us here for the Terminator squad is the new one called Teleport Homer, where at the start of the battle you can set up 1 Teleport Homer token for this unit anywhere on the battlefield that is not in your opponent's deployment zone. If you do, once per battle, you can target this unit with the Rapid Ingress Stratagem for 0 CP. But when resolving that stratagem, you must set this unit up within 3 inches horizontally of that token and not within 9 inches horizontally of any enemy models. That token is then removed. To understand this, we'll need to have a look at that Rapid Ingress Stratagem. So let's go there now. And here you can see this is usually 1 command point. So with their ability, it's going to be 0 command points. And this is the layout of the stratagems. If this is how they're going to do it, I like it a lot. It tells you when, who you're targeting, the effect you have, and any restrictions. And here you can see that you use it at the end of your opponent's movement phase. So this is like a reaction. This is brilliant. This is what I wanted to see. I really like reactions in Age of Sigmar, and also Horus Heresy. That was a big feature. Now they're bringing it to 40k. So this is great. So really, if you can get in your Terminator squad now at the end of your opponent's movement phase, when it comes to your turn and it's your movement phase, can they move and then charge as normal? It seems like they can. That's really nice, but let's read on. So it tells us when. Now we've got the target, 1 unit from your army that is in reserves. So usually you could use this for any unit that's within reserve, but we can use it with the ability to get it for 0 CP because we've got that ability tied in with our Terminator squad. The effect of this rapid ingress is that your unit can arrive on the battlefield as if it were the reinforcement step of your movement phase. So in your opponent's movement phase, you're certainly not going to be able to move or do anything else, but when it comes to your turn, I'm sure you'll be able to. There's also some restrictions, so let's have a look at that. It tells us you cannot use this stratagem to enable a unit to arrive on the battlefield during a battle round it would not normally be able to do so in. So I guess if we're not allowed to deep strike or come on as a reserve in the round 1, then that would apply to it there. So that's the restriction. I really hope this is the layout for the stratagems, much simpler. This is what you want, bullet points and then highlighted keywords to look for when, what the target is, the effect and the restriction. It's going to read much better and make a lot more sense. Alright, we're still going. We've got another ability to look at called Fury of the First. And we get another little hint here in the article. It tells us that Fury of the First, meanwhile, makes Terminators especially effective at destroying the target of the Oath of Moment. And the Oath of Moment is the Space Marine faction ability. Doesn't tell us what that means or what it does, but it says we'll find out what this does tomorrow, where we'll take our first look at faction rules. So tune in tomorrow. I'll be doing another video covering that as well. Really looking forward to seeing what that means, because that's going to open up a lot more things for our Terminator squads, I think. But let's focus on Fury of the First now. It tells us here that each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can ignore any or all modifiers to that attack's ballistic skill or weapon skill characteristic and or to the hit roll. It goes on, in addition, each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets the enemy unit you selected for the Oath of Moment ability this turn, add 1 to the hit roll. So right away, this is a big clue. It looks like if we've got Oath of Moment as our faction ability, every turn, maybe we have to choose a target, an enemy target unit, and then we can get the benefit of Fury of the First because of that. So is that almost a little bit like a battle tactic in Age of Sigmar? That's quite cool. I can't wait for tomorrow now to find out what that means exactly. But there's a big hint there, isn't there? But this is quite cool. Targeting specific units each round. I really like that. I could get into that. That sounds like a fun way to play these. Also, we've got at the bottom there of the abilities, the invulnerable save of a 4+. Really cool that that's there. I think with the toughness 5 now, an invulnerable save of 4+, regular save of 2+. This is great. This is what a Terminator should look like. That just leaves us with keywords, and here you can see we've got Infantry, Imperium, Terminator, Terminator Squad. Faction keywords are Adeptus Astartes, no Primaris. That's really interesting. But there we go. That's pretty much it. That's covered all of the information we've got for the data sheet now. Quite a bit there. Some real nice hints. Something to look forward to tomorrow. I just can't wait to find out more. From looking at those keywords, it reads as if this is going to be any Terminator, so you can use the new ones with these rules, or you can use your old ones. So it doesn't really matter. Don't necessarily have to buy the new models to use these, so that's really nice, especially if you've built a load already. You certainly don't want to be doing it again just because they've got a little bit bigger, and I think the old ones have got so much character anyway. They're really cool to keep, and I can't wait to play my Space Wolves with these new rules for sure. I'd love to hear what you think about the new Terminator squad rules, the layout of the datasheet. What do you think about these new weapon abilities, and any predictions for what we might expect to see tomorrow? Let me know in the comments section down below. Can't wait to read your comments. I don't know about you, but I'm loving all the hype now around 10th edition. Drip feeding all these little bits of information each day is really fun, and as we find out more and more during the build-up, that leads to the end of this month when we'll see at Warhammer Fest online the actual reveal of the box set. So I can't wait to see that. We'll get all those new models for the Space Marines and Terminators. That's going to be really fun. And of course, I'll be covering it here on the channel too. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it gave you a good idea about what you can expect now for your Terminators in 10th edition Warhammer 40,000. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe for more videos like this one. And I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. A big thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping me keep going with these daily videos. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much for your support. It's really awesome. And if you'd like to join the Patreon, support the channel and help me to make even more videos, then there's a link down below. It'll be awesome to see you there.